I talked to you, Candaris, really?
Yeah, what do you want?
Charming. You know anything about this world?
From what we saw from space, this world doesn't have a lot of people. I couldn't really have found much work here anyway, so I never had an interest. It looks like a farm world. The Republic has thousands of these places. Ones that get by farming crops and hunting herds of native beasts. But I might have underestimated this place. It seems to be more than I thought. Do you have anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, you underestimated the apparent Jedi enclave that's here. I was wondering if you had any interesting stories.
You want to hear tales of my exploits? Of the wars I've seen and fought, the enemies I've seen die by my hand? Sure, I'll humor you. My name's Candaris, of the Mandalorian clan Ordo. I've been fighting across the galaxy for 40 of your years. For my people, it is the honor and glory of battle that rules us. It's through combat that we prove our worth, gain renown, and make our fortunes.
Is that why the Mandalorians attacked the Republic?
The Sith came to us with an offer. To fight a worthy enemy in a battle that would be remembered forever. Win or lose, as long as the fight is worthy, then honor is gained. The glory at having triumph over impossible odds is what drives us. If there's nothing at stake, your possessions, your life, your world, then the battle's meaningless. We Mandalore take everything we are and throw it into battle. It's the true test of yourself. The battle against death, against oblivion.
Is that why you work as a mercenary?
Times have changed now. The Mandalore clans have been scattered across the Outer Rim. The Republic is in decline, and the Sith Empire rises to take its place. The clans as they were aren't a threat, but the galaxy still fears us. People think we war out of spite or bloodlust. They don't understand, and fear that. We only wanted the challenge of the battle and glory from it, win or lose. And we lost. But now I have no real challenges. Crushing Davik's enemies and the pathetic gangs in the lower city of Taris could not be considered the most glorious of tasks. When I think of the battles I've fought, the thousands I've killed, the worlds I've burned, I weep for my past. We will never again speak of this. We've got work to do, so let's get to it.
Well, now I'm all curious too. Let's see. How long ago was the Old Republic? The Old Republic era, also referred to as the Sith era, takes place 25,000 BBY. From 25,000 BBY to 1,000 BBY. That's very... BBY refers to the founding of the Republic. I guess I should ask, when does KOTOR take place? KOTOR takes place about 4,000 BBY. There we go. Yeah, just saying the Old Republic was too vague, because that's an incredibly wide spectrum of time allotted. Because it was essentially the EU time period for that stuff, and I'm like, okay, 1,000 to 25,000 years is incredibly wide. So this is 4,000 years ago, from the movie's perspective. Which is a long time. So it's interesting to think about the Mandalorians apparently being scattered and crushed. You can feel some parallels here, like the Krogans, like the idea like maybe they're on the verge of collapse, and they might be gone soon. But like, we know that's not true because the whole reason we know about them is because of the movies that take place 4,000 years later. So one way or another, they persist, making them one of the more long-living things in Star Wars, or at least if you try to read Star Wars as an analog to like human history, like nothing lasts 4,000 years, really. Oh right, also I'll acknowledge my metric is bad. I'm comparing it to the founding of the Republic, but I don't know when Star Wars took place. For all I know, Star Wars takes place 25,000 years after the founding of the Republic. Okay, so when does A New Hope take place? This all auto-completes. You just say when does. Wait, what? A New Hope takes place in 0 BBY? What does that mean? I can't spend too much time on this right now. I'll look into it later, maybe. I'm like, wait, excuse me? I guess the idea is that the rebellion was fighting the Empire, so maybe the Republic was established at the end of A New Hope when the Death Star was destroyed and the power dynamic shifted. I guess that would make sense. I was thinking about the fact that there was a Republic in the prequels, so I was like, wait, which Republic is the Republic that was founded? Because the Republic was in the prequels, I was thinking then 0 must have been before the prequels, but I've lost the thread now. This gets convoluted. Anyway, this is at least 4,000 years ago. Is the Mandalorians, and like in human history, stuff doesn't tend to last that long. Like societies crumble and restart over and over again, and context changes countless times, and new borders are drawn, and so on and so forth, repeatedly in that period of time. So it's impressive to think of the Mandalorians being around for so long, because that puts them alongside like the Sith and the Jedi as like these ever-present forces that just seem to exist and never die out, along with the Republic and the Empire. That said, it might just be some slightly iffy world building, because, you know, Star Wars wasn't designed to be the biggest franchise ever. It was a kind of a Final Fantasy situation where like somebody kind of like haphazardly was like putting out like this project that they thought was going to fail, and then it unexpectedly was a massive success and you just kind of go on with that, which is how most successes work anyway. They're kind of accidents usually, but yeah, like this wasn't necessarily planned around the idea of it being a nice big concrete universe that would be developed for the course of 50 years and stuff. It was a silly sci-fi movie that kept getting fundamentally redesigned from the ground up several times over, with these ideas of like C-3PO being a used car salesman type personality, and like all these other like weird shifts, and like how different their visions were for a lot of the stuff. And then there's that gambit between George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, where they each gave each other the merchandising, like a cut of all merchandising for each other's movies, because George thought that Spielberg's movie that was coming out at the time was going to be like the big thing, and that his movie Star Wars was going to be a failure. And so now Spielberg makes money off of Star Wars merch like all the time, or at least he did before Disney. I don't know the current thing. It's a thing that Stephanie brings up a lot about these people. And so it's like this was never, they never expected to have sequels. They didn't expect the movie to make money. And so like nobody could have been ready to world build on this scale. So that I look at that and it kind of gives me some explanation for when I hear stuff like, what do you mean everything was almost exactly the same 4,000 years ago? That's incredibly bizarre.
Yikukuno no ba mulira tikun tonghit kun tonting ne boboje mata de put.
Go ahead.
Chi gratu loda bograshi oniu komba chintono mochuba. Ka chikun ita hodonga ikin kuno ba mulira tikun.
Do you actually believe she's still alive?
Tong haitwam jiji jumblumpa nita poe tikito dolpa da bongwaleo gandona chuchut.
Sorry, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Takom justach miki grabalmogo kachi ita hodunga.
I'll keep an eye out for your girl.
Takom justach miki grabalmogo.
I sometimes wait for a silence. I read the text in my head and then I wait for a silence and I just cut off his dialogue, because The Twi'lek are unusually capable of talking. Their voice lines are just shockingly long. Sometimes like 2 to 3 times as long as it feels like they should be for what they're saying. You have met and slain the Mandalorian leader, Sherrook. He liked to collect lightsabers and surely would have taken yours and your head had you not slain him. John would surely like to hear of this, and it should reward you well. Was John was outside, wasn't he? I'm just like, I thought I dealt with the Mandalorians, but I never found the daughter, and I feel like I've been everywhere.
Kuyami juz chikata na patogaya fulki gokogala jiji. Gawanabot atagwa. Kagidora tikun watatimona ia bola. Tong haitwam jiji jumblumpa. Nita poe tikito. Dolpa da bongwaleo gandona chuchut. Muchashak pakat. Kiyino no namapaule rachikun.
I am looking for crystals to alter my lightsaber.
Chikun ida hodonga. Iking kuno pamulera chikun. Jedabadawana ni dibobo. Tong nabungsha nununya. Tong patukashmak tele.
Okay. He's just telling me about the caves on Dantooine. I saw the dialogue option and I was like, is he a merchant? Nope. He sucks.
You have done a great thing. One of our own had strayed, but you have returned Juhani to the Order. For this you deserve the highest praise.
Give it all to me. Ah, I shall bask in it. I'm gonna go this way real quick. I think John's over here. I'll take a quick trip to find him. But yeah, it's funny thinking about these universes. Like, Doctor Who was meant to be like a educational show for children that would teach them about history. So you get this magic guy called the Doctor. It takes you back in time in his stupid time box, and it's bigger on the inside. And let's go meet Genghis Khan and George Washington. And then now it's what it is now because it got a big fandom and it keeps getting reborn continuously and forever. I think part of what I love about Doctor Who in particular is it fully embraces its own datedness and its own age by being about continually rebirthing itself and letting go of its past to some extent. Like, it'll grab onto a certain iconography and let certain things stick around continuously, like the TARDIS and the psychic paper and the sonic screwdriver and Daleks and Cybermen and so on, but it also makes new things like Weeping Angels, and also like every few seasons it's like, okay, now there's a new Doctor and a new companion. They're played by new actors, but they also have new personalities, and it's run by new showrunner and new writers, and it just becomes a different show like every 5 years. And it's done that continuously for a very long time. And that's what will happen to any show that's around that long, no matter what. It's just this one, like, it's like Doctor Who's on one of the shows that specifically takes charge of its destiny and embraces that inevitability of its own change and becomes about that. And fully leans into that instead of, you know, letting people act weirdly afraid of it.
Now those Mandalorians know what it's like to be hunted, but now that you've killed some of them, they won't stop until you've defeated their leader. You must find him and kill him too.
I fought and killed their leader.
Thank you, young master. My daughter can now, I think, rest in peace. Here is the reward I promised you.
Thank you, John.
Again, I thank you. I will be sure to tell the council of your great deed.
How many daughters were taken? I assume he's not the same one. That's just... it's an epidemic. That's not to say that Doctor Who doesn't have its fair share of fans that are not great at understanding the basic premise of the show and what it exists as. Heavily recoiling against every change every time. And it does make the show uneven, but it's kind of by design. And actually, I kind of go along for the ride, and it's kind of fun. I agree, actually, that the most recent iteration isn't the best. But it's weird when people are like, a woman? Egads, change in my Doctor Who, the show about change. It's like, that's That's a bad reason. There's good reasons and bad reasons. It's like, oh, I wish these companions had better character development, but it's like, ah! People have massively different reactions to some of that stuff, and it's very off-putting sometimes. 1 to 6 plus 1, or 1 plus 1. I think I'll take 1 to 6 plus 1. Oh my god, I get to have one. I get to have that too? I'm overpowered. Green and yellow. I can kind of dig it, but Bastila is also yellow, so I'm a little like, eh. Yeah, you can be the boring blue lightsaber, and I can have some fun with it. Haha! Should probably take that off of the other character and put it on him. Oh well.
Ah, you have returned, young Padawan. Have you discovered what it was that Revan and Malak sought in those ruins?
We found an incomplete star map and mention of something called a Star Forge.
This news of a Star Forge is disturbing. Action is required, but we must not do so in haste. We must discuss recent events in light of this new information.
We should consult the Jedi archives to see if there's any mention of the Star Forge and what it might do. We must learn why Revan and Malak sought it out.
Return to your ship with Bastila, and we will summon you when we are done. Padawan, you have done well in discovering the star map hidden within the ancient ruins. But there is more you must do in the battle against Malak and the Sith. We Jedi know victory over the Sith will not come through martial might. The Council has a mission for you, Padawan.
I've consulted our vast archives in an effort to discover the nature of this Star Forge, but all my efforts have been in vain.
Still, the Council are in agreement. The Star Forge must be found. Revan and Malak sought it out when they began their tragic fall. The Star Forge is surely a powerful tool of the dark side.
The star map in the ruins showed you 4 planets, but it was incomplete. It did not show the location of the Star Forge itself. We believe there may be similar star maps on other planets. Each star map is likely a small piece of a larger puzzle. Find the star maps on Kashyyyk, Tatooine, Manaan, and Korriban, and we believe they will lead you to the Star Forge.
I'm ready to do the Council's will.
The Jedi numbers have been ravaged by this war, by defections to Malak's cause, and by Sith assassins. But we realize the importance of this mission. Yet if we send a company of Jedi Knights with you, we would surely draw the full attention of Malak and the Sith, dooming your efforts to failure.
Am I to undertake this task alone?
Secrecy is our best defense against the Sith, but it would be foolish to send you on this quest without someone to aid you, young Padawan. Bastila will accompany you, for there is a powerful connection between you two. A connection that might be the key to unraveling the mysteries uncovered by Revan. And Juhani has also asked to accompany you. After long deliberation, we have granted her request.
Juhani nearly fell to the dark side. Perhaps her presence will serve as a reminder to you of the dangers of that path.
There are others I want to join me.
Of course, those who aided you on Taris will also come. They possess skills you may find useful in your quest. Remember that secrecy and discretion are paramount to your success. You will not be able to hide the fact that you are a Jedi, nor should you. But the true nature of your mission must not reach Malak's ears. You may return here at any time. Dantooine will be a sanctuary for you, a safe haven. Here you can find supplies and whatever advice or other aid we may give you.
When do I leave?
You can leave whenever you wish. The sooner the better. The longer you wait, the stronger Malak becomes. But first, a warning, young Padawan. The lure of the dark side is difficult to resist. I fear this quest to find the Star Forge could lead you down an all too familiar path.
The fate of the galaxy is in your hands, young Padawan. We pray you are up to the challenge. May the Force be with you.
Oh yeah, Star Wars, let's do it.
You guys gonna say anything about my judgment on these side quests, though?
Greetings, young Padawan.
No.
As chronicler,
No.
you should ponder.
No.
May the Force be with
Rahesia Sandral and Shen Matali have come here seeking shelter against their families. The Council has decided to give it to them. Their love for each other was being denied by overly possessive parents, and we learned that it was only by your intervention that they managed to escape here. While it is regrettable that the fences between the families were not repaired, it is good that these two young lovers can live their lives free of oppression.
I wonder if that does mean you could have repaired the fences. There might be some utilitarian dialogue to explain what you could have done differently in the quest.
You must not fail in your mission. Find the star maps that lead to the Star Forge. This is the only way to stop Malak and his Sith followers. You and Bastila are the galaxy's last desperate hope.
But beware the dark side. Bastila will guide you, but she herself is young and new to the ways of the Jedi. You must help her as much as she helps you.
The fate of the galaxy is in your hands, young Padawan. We pray you are up to the challenge. May the Force be with you.
Shen and Rahesia have been granted asylum here at the Enclave until they can find a way to deal with their families. I hear you had something to do with that. It is the way of the Jedi to provide help to those in need, and you seem to have lived up to this duty. I congratulate you, Padawan.
Shen Matali and Rahesia Sandral have fled their feuding families and asked for sanctuary here in the Enclave. The Council has granted this request. I have heard that it was by your actions that they managed to escape, and I must congratulate you for avoiding a potentially dangerous situation.
So yes, they do have dialogue coverage about that particular subject. Thoroughly, you might say. With them all saying basically the same thing, but fully voiced with each separate voice actor. I imagine that Shen is back here? Because his room's back here? That's the guy that plays cards with you, Elise.
I'm sorry we have nothing of value to give you as a reward. Our families have cut us off completely. Had the Council not taken us in, we would be foraging in the wilderness to survive.
What are your plans now?
The Council will let us stay here as long as we want, though I know Shen and I are both hoping our fathers will forgive us and welcome us back into their homes. If not, we will try to build a future somewhere else.
Rahesia and I cannot thank you enough for what you have done for us. Now we will finally have a place to share our love, without fear of reprisals from our families.
What are your plans now?
We will stay here for the next little while. We're still hoping our parents will learn to set aside their differences and welcome us back into their homes. If they do not, well, perhaps we will travel to Coruscant or to the core worlds and make our fortunes there.
Good luck to you both. May you find the happiness you deserve.
A lot of very efficient writing in this quest, I guess. Kind of want them to each have different perspectives and takes on the situation, and like maybe develop your council members as being like a variety of people that think a little differently about each subject, so they have a different sort of take on what you did right and wrong and so on. A little moral ambiguity, but also like these characters standing apart from each other as different personalities, because they kind of be, at the very least, like there's the old guy that's set up as being like a different personality amongst that particular crew, because he doesn't like you and so on. So you kind of like want him to be a little harsher and the other character to be a little more kind, and just little different levels of severity in response to what you say, but they kind of still say the same thing. It's kind of disappointing. I'm not sure if they're going to have much more chance to develop these characters, so I'm not sure they're going to really be established as being much of anything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost him.
It's
just so good to have him back. We're just gonna go right home, right now, and celebrate. Aren't we, my lovely little droid? Don't worry. I'm gonna hug you and oil you and care for you and make sure you never get away ever again.
Please kill me.
I guess that droid is really going to serve his master tonight.
I'm never going to feel good about any of the outcomes of that quest. They just walk away? Didn't we already do this? I talked to you guys at your speeder and then you walked away, and now you're in the Jedi Council? And then you walk away and you say the same dialogue again. I was like, did they go to this chamber for that reason? But then they walk away with the same implication again. She's disappeared. Spooky. I thought they were gonna go home, but she said she was gonna go home and then she was here. Huh. I suppose I should take a quick look. Oh, there they are. He's trying to keep up, but she's so much faster, because humans walk so much faster than droids. I suppose I might as well take a look at that merchant again before I leave the planet, because I guess we're leaving. I might finally get to go on the Ebon Hawk, because we still haven't gotten to see what it looks like on the inside. You have to get weirdly far, it seems. Adam Larp. Cassus Fett's battle armor. 10 and 0. It's incredibly expensive. Like, you just have to come back later, right? There's no way you can afford that. I guess if I take more payment from people along the way, because I wasn't doing it that frequently. But holy crap, that's way up there. This one resists sonic. This resists cold. 8 and 2 is not bad either. Yeah, I think these armor choices are the primary incentive here. So this one caps it at 10, that one caps it at 10, but you don't get any from your stats. This one caps it at 10. Oh, they all cap it at 10. They just have different relationships with the dex bonus. Like, this is actually really good for Cassius. The question is it worth spending this much money on Canderous? If I then maybe turn around and just decide not to take him on the next mission, for example. Like, maybe it won't be 100% worth it to invest that kind of stuff into him. I'm not getting a ton of duplicate armor. I'm still vaguely holding on to the idea that if I have more than 2 copies of any piece of armor or weapon, I'll sell it. Just in case I need a little flexibility to, like, switch out people's gear. But that's not really what's happening. The only stuff I have a lot of is consumables, which obviously that rule doesn't really apply the same way. You're supposed to have a stack of that shit. Sup? Oh man. Nostalgia time. I definitely remember walking straight forward and seeing Cassius. Fuck Canderous, I'm so sorry. I think it's because, isn't there a character named Cassius in Romeo and Juliet? I think that's why I keep thinking of it now, because it has the same cadence. This should be... That's the hyperdrive, right? The engine room. You definitely see the precursors to Mass Effect here. Like, you have this ship that conveniently is like your place where all these characters show up. And like, all your party members you're gonna have conversations with over the course of the game will kind of all get their own little spot. And this will be my go-to place where I I'll revisit with each person about what's going on with their life and so on. If they haven't been on missions lately. Because they might. This is a store of emergency food and supplies. This is just like the canonical spot that stuff's in. So, like, if they're in my party, I'll check with them periodically, but if they're not in my party, I kind of need a place, I need that, like, the chance to be able to follow up with them. So no one's here yet. Like, they're pretty economical with the design of this place and the Normandy and so on, so any rooms that exist tend to get populated. This looks like a medical room. There's a ladder going up, probably to the gun on top. E3M4 and Zalbar and Juhani are all in the center of the ship. They're pretty packed together, surprisingly. This looks like it's engineering, and this should be the this is the Galaxy map, the Ebon Hawk's onboard navigational computer. When you're ready to leave Dantooine, you can use the Galaxy map to travel to other planets around the galaxy. And here we have Carth and Bastila. So they're both in the cockpit together. What? Why did I rotate like that? That was a trip. The swoop hangar. That's where Canderous is. Did I check if anyone was in here? It is the supply room. So it's got a top and a bottom, but you don't start in either of those places. Because you board the ship here, kind of in the middle of the ship. So you kind of gotta orient yourself a little bit. I feel like the general shape of the ship crossed with where you board it from. I think as a kid I might have, like, failed to find mission over here for a while. But I could be wrong. It's kind of like stashed over here.
Hey there, what can I do for you?
I want to talk to you about your brother.
Don't tell me you believe Lena's lies. Griff might be working as a miner on Tatooine, but the rest of her story is Bantha Poodoo. You can't trust someone like her. At least Griff's free of her clutches. I'd like to go speak to the Zerka Corp rep on Tatooine if we have time. Maybe I can arrange to see my brother again.
We'll find your brother, mission.
I just hope he's not in any kind of trouble when we do.
Probably. He's probably in trouble with a lot of people. He seems like that kind of person that gets mixed up in things constantly and lies and manipulates people and gets what we want, but then it backfires comically all at once. That kind of situation, you know. Fun.
Yeah, what do you want?
Can you give me some adrenal stimulants?
Stimulants make a warrior out of even the weakest human. Here's a speed-boosting stimulant to help you get quicker. There anything else you need?
Nothing more for now?
Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
I'm here if you want something done right. Yeah. That's I forgot about that. Various characters kind of just hand you free supplies. So as you collect certain characters, you kind of get like a continuous influx of certain consumables, which comes in handy. So people aren't so spread out right now. There's 3 people in one room and 2 people in another room. It's mostly just Mission and Canderous that are off in their own spot. You don't talk much, do you? Just chime in if you ever have any advice. I don't think I speak this language. Can you construct a programming spike for me, T3? I just want to ask some questions. You don't even know what I was going to ask. Never mind. Okay, maybe not not gonna get a lot of character development out of that one. Zalbar. You know anything about the planet we're on? Have anything more to say about yourself, Zalbar? Then I'll leave you be. Alright, friendly. Can you make a grenade, though? I want you to make me a grenade. Hey, you just get this constant supply incoming. Kind of helps the party members all feel like they're contributing, even if you can't bring them on missions, because we have this weird strike team thing going on where we're only 3 people going on around, even though we have so much to work with here collectively.
I feel I must apologize for the way I acted towards you before in the Grove. It was wrong of me.
Yeah, it was attempted murder. You thought the dark side had consumed you. It is nothing.
I am sorry for attacking you. I am sorry for thinking you would only try to kill me. I hope that by helping you in your task, I may redeem myself in your eyes, and in my own.
Do not worry, Juhani. I forgive you.
Thank you. It is most reassuring to know that you can forgive me, even though I tried to take your life. I can only hope that, in our time journeying together, I will succeed. How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
I was wondering if we could talk.
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
How did you come to be a Jedi?
How I came to be a Jedi? I am sure you would not find it very interesting. Are you sure you would like to hear?
Yes, please continue.
Well, it goes back a number of years. Back on my homeworld, we did not see Jedi very often, especially where I lived.
Where did you live?
The hind end of space. A pit of a world, to be sure, where Jedi rarely tread. But we had heard of them. Well, everyone had, so that is not to be unexpected. Champions of truth, defenders of justice, heroes of the Republic. It was very easy for a child to be enthralled by their image, their mystique. Maybe I was one of those children.
Then how did you gain entrance to the Order?
When I saw a Jedi for the first time, they lived up to everything my imagination had created them to be. I was awed, and maybe a little enamored.
The imagination can be a dangerous thing.
From that moment on, I knew that I would have to try to become a Jedi. To lift myself out of the rut I had been living in for years, and to make a real difference as the Jedi wore. The foolish delusions of a child. But this child made it happen. As soon as I was able, I left my world and went in search of them. I found them and was accepted. I had been living my dream on Dantooine for several years before you came, although perhaps I was not entirely ready for it, or not completely suited to the task. Otherwise, I would not have fallen. But thanks to you, I have been redeemed. Perhaps I may yet live to see that dream of mine come true. Come, there is much we should do. Let us not waste time talking. Action is what is needed.
Joke's on you, this game's mostly talking.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
I was wondering if we could talk.
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
Are you doing all right?
I thank you for your concern, but I am still a bit shaken.
Perhaps you just need more time.
More time would do me good. Time to distance myself from that anger. I think that is why the council agreed to send me with you. They think perhaps that in your company I will be able to free myself from it.
If I see you begin to slip back, I will intervene.
I thank you for your concern and your acceptance. I will strive to prove that I am worthy of your company and trust.
Let's see how she lasts with that. We still largely need to meet her as a person.
Yes, what's on your mind?
You've been very quiet lately, you know that?
Have I been quiet? Suppose I have. I guess I just don't like being left out of the loop.
Left out of the loop? I don't understand.
Left out of the loop, you know, not being told anything, strung along. It's really starting to irritate me. For one thing, I want to know what the Jedi Council said to you. They pulled you in there and refused to tell me a thing about it. I'm rather curious to know what went on, and why they didn't keep you on Dantooine for training. Isn't that strange?
Why don't you ask Bastila?
I'd be more than happy to, but she's as closed-mouthed as the rest of the council. I'm hoping you'll be the one to enlighten me.
Why should anything the Jedi do seem strange to you?
I may not know much about the Jedi, but I do know they aren't famous for taking on old Padawans and sending them on dangerous assignments.
They said that there's a bond between Bastila and myself.
A bond? What kind of bond? You mean to say that they told you that you were tied to Bastila in some way? I have trouble believing that. You're a neophyte Padawan who's been saddled with the responsibility of tracking down these star maps. Why? That's not normal. I am not trying to provoke you or to imply that you're somehow responsible for the Jedi Council, but give me a hand here. There has to be a reason.
Are you saying I'm not needed?
No, I didn't mean that you weren't wanted or that I want to go. It's just... Damn it. Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm not going to wait around until I'm betrayed again.
I'm not going to betray you. I am not Saul.
Yeah, we'll just see about that, won't we? Look, I didn't mean it that way. I want to get to Saul, not... No, forget it. It just seems that all I can do is insult you, isn't it? Just forget I said anything. Let's just get on with what we were doing.
That went well.
Yes, what's on your mind?
You know anything about this place?
Dantooine's a boring place. It's all plains and hurt. That's all I can...
I think we already talked about that. Hey, Bastila. You having fun driving Carth insane over here, apparently?
How can I help?
I want to talk about that dream.
It was less of a dream and more of a vision the two of us shared. But I am certainly willing to answer any questions the Jedi Council did not.
What do you think Malak and Revan were doing?
I have no idea. It was obviously important, however. That is why we must investigate this further.
I still don't understand why we shared this vision.
Are you wondering why we shared the vision? Or why we even received it in the first place? To the first, I can only repeat the answer that the Council gave us. Our fates are linked. And for two as strong as we are in the Force, that amounts to a near-physical bond. As to the second, I truly don't have an answer for you. The Force works as it will, and perhaps we should be grateful for what we've been given.
But how did our fates become linked?
I don't know. Believe me, I certainly don't find the prospect of being joined to you enjoyable in any fashion.
Well, thanks a lot.
Please, forgive me. I did not mean to imply that you were repulsive in any sense of the word. That we shared something so personal is just not something I'm used to.
I have another question.
What would you like to know?
Why did we dream of Malak and Revan?
Perhaps because we desired to. Perhaps because they came to this planet and were strong enough in the Force to leave a trace.
Isn't it a bit convenient to dream about our enemies?
And what else should we dream about except that which is most important to our fate? We dreamed about Revan and Malak either because we were meant to or because we needed to. There is no other way to look at it.
I'm not sure I like the idea of you being in my dreams.
And are you so certain that it is not you in my dreams?
I suppose that's possible.
Regardless of which it is, our fates are linked. The vision was doubtless meant for us both.
Do you think we'll receive more of these visions?
With luck, we will. I would rather not rely on such visions to guide us. But when we have so little else to go on, and the galaxy hangs in the balance...
That's all I wanted to know.
As you wish. We really should return our thoughts to business anyway.
This is business. It's literally discussing our primary mission at the moment. So, the next question is going to be, where do we want to go? We have freedom! At long last! It only took like all of the time. What time is it? Or what episode is this? I think this is 22, so yeah, 22 hours into the game, suddenly we have a choice to be made. And you thought the Citadel took a while. Holy crap. But it's because they wanted to do their big early game plot reveal of like, what? We get to... That's crazy! We get to... We're a Jedi! That's crazy! Wow! So, Yavin. A small space station orbiting the gas giant Yavin. That wasn't mentioned before, was it? So we have Yavin, which... Was it Yavin 4? Isn't that where, like, the Bespin City is or something? Am I mixing that up? Dantooine. Temperate Grassland. Oh, I was mixed up with Tatooine, that's my bad. That's where we were at the Jedi Academy. Tatooine, desert, canyons, native species, Jawas, and sand people. That's it. Apparently. Anchorhead Settlement is our docking spot. Kashyyyk, temperate forest full of Wookiees. And there's a Zerka corpse there. I'm sure that's going to not have any problems at all. Manan, worldwide ocean. Native species Selkath. Docking city of Atto. Korriban. Volcanic mountain range. Native species none known. Now settled. Docking Dreshte settlement. I'm pretty sure I want to do Korriban last in this playthrough. Going off of that, where do I want to go first? I think Tatooine's a decent place to go, mainly because Mission is looking for somebody on Tatooine, and hey, it's Tatooine, familiar place. Get nice and confused about these two similarly named places by putting them back and forth, that's always fun.
Lord Malak, the Star Forge is operating at 200% capacity, far beyond our expectations.
I am more interested in the young Jedi Bastila and her battle meditation. Have you learned how she escaped the destruction of Taris?
She was aided by Karth Onasi, a decorated war hero of the Republic and a legendary soldier. During the Mandalore Wars, he was honored many times for his bravery.
You know this man?
Yes, Lord Malak. He served under me when I still followed the Republic. You could say I was his mentor.
Interesting. How did you acquire this information, Admiral?
An eyewitness, Lord Malak. Calo Nord, a bounty hunter, was there when Bastila and Karth escaped the planet. Apparently, they left him for dead.
A Jedi and a war hero. It's a wonder you survived the encounter.
I am hard to kill, Lord Malak.
Calo has agreed to help us capture the young Bastila for a very hefty fee, of course. But I assure you he is well worth the price. His reputation as a bounty hunter is well earned.
Her companions are nothing to me, Calo. But I desire the young Jedi taken alive, if at all possible.
Lord Malak, forgive me, there is something else. May we have a private audience away from the ears of the common soldiers?
I trust you are not wasting my time, Admiral Kareth.
I promise you will be very interested in what Calo has to tell you about Bastila's other companions, Lord Malak.
Well, that's important. Do we have another cutscene coming?
The Force has given us a vision, like the one we shared on Dantooine. Did you see it? Of course. You must have. The Force is strong with us both. Tatooine is known for little but blowing sand. I find it surprising that there would be a star map somewhere in its desolate wastes.
Maybe Tatooine wasn't always a desert.
Perhaps, though that would have been tens of thousands of years in the past. Now there's nothing but the howling emptiness of the Dune Sea. The star map would likely have to be within some kind of shelter to protect it against dust and sandstorms. I suspect there are many such caves and caverns hidden in the sands of the Dune Sea. The creatures of this world probably use them as their lairs. No doubt things will become more clear once we discover the star map's location.
I mean, judging from the last place we went to, there's probably just a door sticking out somewhere, basically. Just hanging out. So that vision was important. So we found out that Karth's dude that he's after, Saul, right? His old mentor that betrayed him, he's right there. He's the guy that's in the cutscenes with Malak. And then we have the strange moment of something's important about the people in our crew that Calo Nord would have seen. So important that they need to talk to specifically Malak about that out of earshot of the other troops. Which would make it Bastila or Karth, but probably not Karth or Bastila because they were already talking about Karth and Bastila before that point. That narrows it down to T3M4, which is hilarious and probably not the case unless it's like he's got the secret map in his body, like in Force Awakens, the dumbest plot point of that entire movie, where they have the jigsaw puzzle map, which is, God, I hated that. So it's probably not that. So it narrows it down to Mission, Zalbar, myself, and Canderous. Old characters that might have interesting pasts, although I would probably put I'd probably put the most weight on anyone but Mission. Mission's not very old and doesn't have a lot of a history, whereas Zalbar's a Wookiee and they live for a very long time. Like, as far as I can remember, I think Chewie lived for like hundreds or thousands of years, I think, before he ever even met Han, and will continue to live for a long, long time, as long as he doesn't get hit by like a planet or something. But that would never happen. And then Canderous we barely know, but he's also got long history. And Callow definitely knew that he was there. And then there's me, which we're a little unclear on a number of ways, but something's going on with me too. How do I leave? I guess I can ask everyone what they think about this planet while we're still on the ship, huh? That'd probably be an efficient use of time next episode.